Chinese regime prepares for war and Taiwan warns it will respond. Iran in secret talks with China and Russia to buy sanctioned missile fuel. Cash for passport, Chinese spies slip into the UK via visa-free access from third nations. Beijing accused of treating foreign and domestic students completely differently, causing outrage. Chinese fishermen fearful of starving to death if drills continue around Taiwan.
The Chinese Communist regime has deployed a series of military exercises around Taiwan, raising worldwide alarm. While such demonstrations of power have been carried out frequently over the past decades, the exercises this time have exceeded all limits. So much so that the Taiwanese authorities stated that the regime's demonstration was more of a threat and the prelude to the beginning of a possible war. The Taiwanese Foreign Minister, Joseph Wu, assured that it is necessary to think about this scenario, and even warned that Taiwan is ready to respond to any attack by the regime. Wu condemned Beijing's actions in an interview with CNN and warned, "They seem to be preparing to launch a war against Taiwan." The interviewer then asked him if he had any idea of possible Chinese military action timing. Wu responded by expressing that regardless of when the attack is, Taiwan is already ready to defend itself. The Chinese regime concluded its military maneuvers around Taiwan on Monday with a simulated blockade of the island and the anticipated participation of the Shandong, a large aircraft carrier. The regime claimed it had tested its integrated military capabilities in actual combat conditions, having practiced precision strikes and the blockade of the island they consider their own. Beijing justified the military maneuvers as supposedly necessary to protect its sovereignty and territorial integrity. The exercises coincided with the recent meeting between Taiwanese President Tsai Ing-wen and U.S. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, which suggests it was another way of demonstrating the regime's disagreement and anger. In this regard, Wu insisted during the interview that the regime has no right to dictate how Taiwan shapes its alliances, nor how allies support the autonomous region. Wu also recalled and appreciated the explicit support of the US government in the dispute with the Chinese regime. Washington, for its part, did not stand idly by, and got involved in the conflict, condemning the regime's display as disproportionate and irresponsible. In addition, the United States began this week with the Philippines a series of military exercises, although these were announced and planned in advance, and should not be understood as a direct response to the regime's training. Philippine and U.S. officials say the drills show their commitment to peace and stability in the Indo-Pacific region, which should be open and accessible. The joint operation involved at least 17,000 troops and simulated attacks on a warship in the South China Sea, which could further anger the communist regime. The sea lanes around the Philippines and in the South China Sea contain some of the world's most important trade routes, and have been the subject of disputed territorial claims by China and other countries in the region in recent years. The Philippines is at the forefront of the conflict area, and possesses prime sites from which the United States could deploy its military operations in a potential confrontation with the regime. Will it be necessary to get to that point? And what would be the consequences? All indications are that no one wants to be the first to fire, but many are ready to respond as soon as one does.
China and Russia are conducting secret talks with Iran to replenish the Islamic Republic's supply of essential chemical compounds for propelling ballistic missiles. According to the U.S. news agency Politico, this action marks a clear violation of United Nations sanctions and could help Moscow replenish its depleted missile stockpile. Tehran has held concurrent talks with officials and government-controlled entities from both nations, including the state-owned Russian chemical producer FKP Anozit, to purchase a large quantity of ammonium perchlorate, or AP, the main ingredient in the solid fuels used to power rockets. In Beijing, Iranian diplomat Sajjad Ahadzadeh, who acts as Tehran's technology advisor in China and the border region, led negotiations to acquire AP. Information regarding the Chinese companies involved is unknown. The exact amount of APs Iran wants to buy is still unknown. Still, diplomats familiar with its plans estimate that this quantity would be enough to create thousands of missiles, including the Zolfaghar. Zolfaghar is a missile with a range of 435 miles, 700 kilometers, and has been used by Iran and its proxies in the Middle East in recent years. Diplomats said Russia could deploy the missiles against Ukraine if the deal succeeds. According to reports, Iran has supplied Russia with so-called kamikaze drones, which it has used to strike Ukrainian civilian targets. It has also advised Moscow on how to avoid international sanctions it faces due to its actions.
UK Security Service, or MI5, has warned that Chinese spies are slipping into the UK by gaining citizenship from third countries. Citing reports from MI5, The Times reveals that this situation happens since these countries allow people to travel to Britain without needing a visa. These nations include Vanuatu in the South Pacific, Namibia in Southern Africa, and Timor-Leste in Southeast Asia. Authorities worry Chinese spies and organized crime groups are taking advantage of them. These few and other nations now allow foreigners to become citizens by investing or paying a very nominal fee. Vanuatu is considered the most concerning route for criminals and spies from hostile states. Without leaving their home country, foreign nationals can become citizens in a few months by paying roughly $150,000 or £120,000. As part of the nation's reconstruction efforts following a destructive cyclone in 2015, Chinese nationals have been given more than 4,000 passports due to the program. 123 countries allow visa-free travel for tourists with the Vanuatu passport, compared to just 70 for Chinese passport holders. MI5 evidence also shows that citizens from hostile states, including China, may be engaged in espionage after entering the UK. The intelligence agency is concerned that those agents can work for the Chinese Communist Party. Moreover, it has also sparked worries that Russian agents would follow suit. The National Crime Agency has also provided proof that significant organized crime organizations are smuggling individuals into the UK through so-called cash for passport schemes. Although the security risk is present, there is a contradiction in how to solve the problem between the Foreign Office and the Home Office. The Foreign Office prefers to provide visa-free travel for foreign visitors to enhance relations, but the Home Office hesitates to do so due to national security issues. A government source told The Times, "The Home Office and Foreign Office are fighting this one out. It keeps happening. One won't budge without concessions from the other, and we can't seem to resolve it. The Home Office thinks the other is soft, and the Foreign Office thinks they're too cautious. There's some truth in both those arguments." However, a Foreign Office source downplayed suggestions of a row, insisting that the department had merely requested a delay in the visa requirements.
The recent scandal of the Chinese Communist Party granting very high-value scholarships to international students has attracted public attention. A video recorded a Mexican student studying in China saying he gave up his intention to study in the US and traveled thousands of miles here because of the CCP's attractive supranational treatment offers. In the video, when a Hong Kong University student visited Xi'an Jiaotong University, he met an international student from Mexico. The Mexican student said he initially wanted to study in the US, but the tuition was too expensive, so he came to China. The Hong Kong student found it difficult to understand. Finally, he asked, "Isn't it also expensive to attend an international school?" What the Mexican student said he found hard to believe. He said Xi'an Jiaotong University's tuition is completely free. It even provides an allowance for international students every month, about $73 or about 500 yuan. However, some students can get more. The highest can be nearly $730 a month. The Mexican student said it is easy to get into Xi'an Jiaotong University. You only need to pass HSK Level 4, which has a priority mode for international students. Later, the two students visited the Xi'an Jiaotong University dormitory for international students. The video shows single rooms that international students stay in, which are small but fully equipped. In contrast, Chinese students often have to share a room in the dormitory. This video has caused heated discussion. Some Chinese netizens commented as follows: "I strongly demand the abolition of supranational treatment for foreigners studying in China. Every year, when the US and Europe criticize the lack of human rights and democracy in our country, a group of thugs come out to support China. This is the real reason for the huge foreign support." On April 6, the NetEase account Wei Guanyin posted an article titled, Foreign students at Xi'an Jiaotong University can receive an allowance up to 5,000 yuan or $730 per month, shocking the Chinese people. The Post expressed indignation. $730 is equivalent to a month's salary of a migrant worker in many cities, and they must work hard to earn such an amount. But foreigners who only come to study can get $730 monthly, which is really insane. The account said they spend Chinese yuan, live in Chinese houses, and use Chinese goods. These resources could be provided to domestic students, but they have been taken over by foreigners, giving such good favors to others, but being so cruel to its own people. It's too absurd. These universities should stop worshipping and flattering foreigners. They're despising themselves. No wonder why foreigners look down on Chinese universities. They seem like begging people to come and study. How can one appreciate these universities? On April 8th, a Daji Yuan reporter discovered through the School of International Education website under Xi'an Jiaotong University that the Xi'an city government had specifically established the Belt and Road Scholarship for international students. This scholarship program aims to provide preferential tuition fees for those students. The officially funded scholarship recipients include undergraduate students, master's students, doctoral students, and one-year non-degree advanced students. The scholarship sponsorship provides about $2,180 for undergraduate students, about $2,900 for master's students, about $3,630 for doctoral students, and about $145 per month for non-degree advanced students studying courses of 6 months or more. Xi'an Jiaotong University also waives tuition fees for undergraduate students, master's students, and doctoral students receiving the scholarship. Undergraduate tuition fees can be reduced by 100%, 50%, or 30%. Foreign students must have nationalities of countries along the Belt and Road to receive the scholarship. Although Mexico is not a Belt and Road country, according to China's official media reports, the Belt and Road Initiative continues to expand in Latin America, Mexico, and Brazil, where no cooperation documents have yet been signed.
China has been conducting drills around Taiwan for the past few days. According to foreign media reports, these military operations have put Chinese fishermen who care more about livelihoods than politics in a dilemma. China has raised its military threat to Taiwan after President Tsai Ing-wen visited the U.S. and met with House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. According to Sin Chu, in addition to declaring military drills around Taiwan from April 8th to 10th, other places in China such as Dalian, Fuzhou, and Hainan also announced assembly of live ammunition, allowing no ships to enter. According to Reuters, the Taiwan Strait's tense situation also affects fishermen along China's southern coast, who rely on fishing for their livelihood. Military operations are causing them a lot of pressure and risk when sailing. The report cited a fisherman surnamed Wang on Pingtan Island in China's southeastern Fujian province, saying his ancestors had fished here for generations, and fishing has been their only livelihood. But with the new military drills, the inability to set sail is causing them great anxiety. He said, "If no fish comes to my net, my family will probably starve to death." When Wang's boat sailed on the morning of April 7th to an area half an hour from Pingtan, his crew brought back about 7,000 yuan, or $1,000, worth of mainly red shrimp and pomfret. About 20 people worked on that boat. Each fisherman earns about 200 to 300 yuan, or $29 to $44, for a day's work, far less than needed to raise a family. Wang said, "Diesel is getting more and more expensive, and our living costs have risen significantly, with the meager government subsidies just a drop in the bucket." Wang also said, "We have been fishing since we were very young, and will do so until we are old enough to die. We have no time to think about issues other than our personal struggles." He was concerned about the end of the fishing season on May 1st. Pingtan Islanders, including him, scrambled to seize every sailing opportunity as they brace for 3 months of zero income. Another 53-year-old fisherman, surnamed Lin, expressed hope that relations between the two sides of the Taiwan Strait could be improved. He said, "If there is a war, Pingtan will definitely become the front line, but I feel and hope that the day will never come."